Before you make a decision, you need to understand 3 things. Who stands behind it, what the product is, and where the compensation may come from. We do not start with emotion. We do not start with promises. We start with understanding. Because a good decision does not come from pressure. A good decision comes from clarity. First, you understand. Then you decide. And the best decisions are made when you can see the whole picture. We start with the company, not with the token, not with percentages, not with the question, how much can I make? First, we look at what really stands behind the project. Here, we see activity connected with construction, engineering, and the medical sector. This matters because tokenization only makes sense when it is connected to real business activity. Because if there is no real activity behind the project, everything else is just a presentation. That is why we start with the foundation. First, the foundation, then the product. Only then the compensation model. Now the physical product. Because the token itself does not create trust. Trust is created by a real product, sales, and business activity. We have the construction area. We have technical structures. We have the medical area. The logic is simple. Physical product, sales, margin, source of the model. And this is the key. Do not ask first, how much can I get? Ask first, where is this model supposed to create value? Because where there is no source of value, there is no foundation for trust. Here you see the map of digital products. Token win is the main point of reference. Next to it, there are other tokens. There are also higher entry levels and drive token as a separate area. You do not need to remember everything right now. You need to see the map. First, the physical product, then the digital products, only then the compensation model. This order protects you from chaos. You do not need to know every detail yet. You need to see one thing. This is not just one token. This is an ecosystem map. First, logic, then decision. Drive GPS is a separate product area. It does not replace the main model. It is an additional part of the ecosystem. Here, we have a GPS application, a daily user habit, Drive Mia's, Drive Club, and later, use of tokens. This is a different logic from the main tokenization model. Drive GPS is designed to build daily usage, movement, and engagement around the application. But remember one thing. This is an extension of the ecosystem, not the foundation of the entire decision. Drive GPS is not the foundation of the decision, but it shows one important thing. Stark is not thinking with just one product. Stark is building an ecosystem. This is one of the most important slides. The investor buys a digital product. That product is connected to a model designed to support production or business turnover. Then we have physical products, sales, and the result of the model. This is not magic. This is not a deposit. This is not a guarantee of profit. The token is a tool inside a business model, and this is exactly how you need to look at it. Not as a promise, but as a mechanism that must be understood before a decision is made. If you do not understand this, you do not move forward. If you understand this, you begin to look at the model consciously. In this model, you have two paths. You can be an investor. You buy the digital product, you understand the rules, you know the risk, and you do not have to sell. Or you can be a partner. You recommend, you sell, you build a structure, and you use the bonuses. You can also combine both roles. And this is important. Not everyone has to act the same way. Not everyone has to build. Not everyone has to sell. But everyone must consciously choose who they want to be in this model: investor, partner, or both. Here I am showing an example for an investor. Start, $3,000. There are two options. The first option, monthly payout. For 12 months, the model shows $357 per month. After 12 months, the plan ends, and the capital is gradually used. The second option, you build a base. For 12 months, you do not withdraw funds. You allow the model to work. From month 13, the model shows approximately $1,020 per month. You withdraw half, which is approximately $510. The other half remains in the model, so that the base capital does not decrease. And now, an important element: capital protection. On the slide, you can see 100% Alianza insurance in case of payout problems. This does not mean there is no risk. That is why the details, the documents, and the protection rules are discussed before any decision, not as a promise. As an example, you can verify step by step. Here I am showing an example for a passive partner. The partner does not start with their own capital. The partner starts with action. If a client pays in $3,000, the partner receives $300 in commission. And now, the partner has a choice. They can withdraw the commission immediately. They can also place it into the system and withdraw the result from the first month. In this example, the model shows $35.70 per month for 12 months. The partner can also leave the commission in the model and allow it to work. Then, from month 13, the model shows approximately $276 per month. The partner can withdraw half, which is approximately $138. The other half remains in the model, so that the base capital does not decrease. But these are only examples. The model is flexible. Funds can be withdrawn at a chosen moment, after 6 months, after 2 years, or later. The partner can also add further amounts to the system, starting from $15 to increase the base amount. The details are shown during the main presentation. That is where we calculate different options using a special calculator. Here I show an example for an active partner. An active partner meets the activity requirements. This means that they regularly bring in new investors or new partners. In that case, the model works in the 23.7% variant. As before, the partner does not start with their own capital. The partner starts with action. If a client pays $3,000, the partner receives $300 in commission. And now the scale of the result is different. If the partner puts the commission into the system and withdraws the result from the first month, the model shows $71 per month for 12 months. If the partner leaves the commission in the model and allows it to work, from month 13, the model shows approximately $1,483 per month. The partner may withdraw half of it, which is approximately $742. The other half remains in the model so that the base capital does not decrease. The payout rules, the flexibility of the model, and the possibility of increasing the base amount work in the same way as with the passive partner. Partnership is not only about bonuses. It is a path of development. First, personal activity. Then sales. Then a team. Then a structure. And only then career levels. Nobody advances just because they registered. Career does not come from clicking a button. Career comes from action. Activity, sales, team, structure. If someone only observes, they remain an observer. If someone wants to build, they must start acting. Now the technical part. The token may go through Move Exchange. There, a swap or conversion may take place. Then, the funds may be converted into stablecoins, such as USDC or USDT. Then, wallet and further withdrawal. This is important because many people ask, okay, but how does it work technically? The answer is simple. You need to know the procedure. You need to understand KYC. You need to know the fees. You need to know how conversion and withdrawal work. This slide is not here to excite you. This slide is here to give you control. Where the token is, where the conversion is, where the withdrawal is. If you were thinking about the partner path, one thing matters. You are not left alone. There are official presentations. There are partner trainings. There are first steps for new people. There is a community, leaders, and team support. But let us be clear. The system will not do everything for you. Materials help. Trainings help. The team helps. But the decision and the action belong to you. You have the tools. You have the support. You have the first steps. And now, the most important question remains. Do you stay an observer? Or do you take the first step? In the end, it all comes down to taking the first step. The process does not have to be complicated. You begin by registering. You click the link below the video. You create an account. You access the dashboard. There, you can learn more about the product, the rules, and how the entire model works. If you want to join as a partner, you can upload this video to your channel, add your own affiliate link, and invite others. If you want to start as an investor, you can begin with a minimum investment of 100 USDT.